We need schools that are fit for the 21st century. Too many of our children go to school today in buildings that are badly in need of repair or replacement. Temporary prefab buildings have become permanent school buildings. Poor sanitation, poor ventilation, poor heating are everyday problems for thousands of pupils and their teachers.
This school here was built in the 70s for, I suppose in a sense, half the numbers we're catering for today. Class sizes were larger back then, but half of the numbers or half the number of classrooms. And all in the intervening years we've been promised so many times that we're going to get permanent classrooms to replace all of these prefabs that are dilapidated.
I have a son who started this school in 2001, and he started his time in this school in a prefab. He's now in 6th class, and most of his life has been spent on prefabs. 25 years ago, these were put in as a temporary measure. They were condemned 8 years ago, and we're still in them.
All across the country, the cost of running schools has rocketed. Government funding does not come near to meeting these costs. In most cases, the Department of Education contributes 89 cents per pupil per day. Many parents pay far more than this through fundraising and voluntary contributions. If it wasn't for this, schools would have to close. In many cases, these funds are being used to pay utility bills and buy equipment for classrooms.
As a principal teacher, I would much prefer to focus on the quality of teaching and learning rather than on worrying about making ends meet. The Department of Education doesn't really fund teaching and learning here other than teacher salaries. We have to be inventive and innovative in raising monies to make sure that the children in our classes get the best possible start in primary education. Their parents are funding us 1/3 of the money that the Department of Education should be.
Every year we are asked to pay a voluntary subscription to the school. Without our voluntary subscriptions, the school couldn't function properly. I really feel we're told we have a free education system, but we haven't when we have to pay this for the running of our school.
Parents are subsidising the running costs of schools. This is a local education tax. It's time to put funding for our schools on a proper footing. The government must build and maintain schools and pay the running costs. Parents don't contribute to the building of Garda stations. They don't subsidise the petrol for the squad car. The government needs to ramp up the school building programme and pay the real running costs.